At a TAFE in Brisbane, Labor is sharpening its focus on the next generation.
Guys, being jobless in 2023 is a serious issue. Back in the day, you could be jobless and be fine. You could be jobless and still be able to eat, still be able to function, still be able to do your daily activities with no issue. But guys, nowadays, if you have no job, your life is in a critical situation. Do you remember when chips used to be $2.50? When drinks used to be $1? When lollies were affordable? Guys, nowadays chips are $8. Water bottles are $4. Guys, just to drink water is $4. I can't do it anymore and I'm thinking about filing for bankruptcy. How am I broke when I get paid? It does not make sense to me. Guys, the moment I knew I was in a crisis is when I went to the shops and picked up some eggs, went to pay for them, and realized they were $7.80. Guys, never in my life have I had to leave an item or a piece of food as I leave the shops. I had to leave the eggs. I don't know what type of chicken laid these eggs, but I'm assuming it was a golden one. Who can relate?
You know what's fucked up? I put my 2 weeks in and my boss was being a dickhead. So I was like, cool, go ahead, fire me. I'm gonna get some unemployment. And then whenever I go home for Thanksgiving, like, I'm gonna have paid time off because my job doesn't even offer paid time off. Tell me why I looked up today as it's my last day. Mind you, this is before the 2 weeks, but today was like my last day to myself. I can't even qualify for unemployment because a bitch has to work in the state for a year. I'm like, fucking be for real.
For everyone else who's looking for a job right now, I feel your pain. I never thought I would be 36 years old with, an undergraduate degree from a UC school and a master's degree and legitimately unemployable. Yes, I slowed down my career in real estate the last 6 years to raise my kids, and that seems like I'm now, like, it doesn't matter. And I know that I took time off and that's on me, but it shouldn't mean that I can't even get a job anywhere. Like, why did I go to school? Why did I try so hard through high school to get into a good college? And then I worked my ass off in graduate school because I really enjoyed what I was finally learning, and basically all to be told, like, I should have done something else. And I'm, like, unemployable. It's just really, it's really depressing.
I have a hot take about being unemployed and finding a job in 2023. I really hope my dad doesn't see this. I have been unemployed since November of 2022 and we are now in August of 2023. I've been working in human resources for 5 years and I have applied to literally a million jobs. No matter how many jobs I apply to, getting a job feels impossible. The reality is we are in a recession right now, and while it may not feel that way to some people, it definitely feels like that with like all of the inflation, you know? My hot take is literally just wait till things blow over. And I'm not saying be lazy, stop looking, just throw in the towel altogether. I'm saying that you can keep looking, but unless you know somebody or you're like super qualified, there is like a 9 out of 10 chance that you are not getting the job. I literally had an interview last week and they eventually got back to me and they're like, sorry, you're overqualified. What? I have never been overqualified for anything in my life. Fast forward to my dad. My dad calls me today and he goes, so this came up on my LinkedIn, head of marketing. Would that be something you can do? Oh my God. I literally go, no, I work in human resources. I literally have no corporate experience in a marketing department. I'm not even qualified for an entry-level position in marketing. He basically says like, extend yourself, just apply, you never know, la la la. I don't know if it's like an older generation thing. Part of it is like he just believes in me. The other part is I'm being lazy, maybe. To say if you're unemployed, you've been unemployed, you've just gotten laid off, like effort is valid, and if there's a day or two where you sit and like the day goes by and you've not really felt like productive or accomplished, like don't beat yourself up because things will eventually blow over and you will eventually find a job. This is also just like a pep talk for me. So if anybody works in human resources and is hiring, hi, call me.
And remember, kids, the next time that somebody tells you the government wouldn't do that, oh yes they would.
You're raising interest rates to slow the economy, are you not?
Yes, to cool the economy off.
And one of the ways you measure your success, other than fluctuation in gross domestic product, is the unemployment rate. Is it not?
Yes, one of the measures.
Okay. So in effect, I'm not being critical. When you're slowing the economy, you're trying to put people out of work. That's your job, is it not?
Not really. We're trying to restore price stability.
No, you're trying to raise
not wages.
You're trying to raise the unemployment rate. I know you don't like the phrase, so let me strike it. You're trying to raise the unemployment rate, are you not?
No, we're not trying to raise it. We're trying to realign supply and demand, which could happen through a bunch of channels, like, for example, just job openings.
All right, let me put it another way, okay? The Economist did a wonderful study. They looked at 10 disinflationary periods in America going all the way back to the 1950s. Disinflation is what you're trying to do. It's a slowing in the rate of inflation. Am I right?
Yes.
In other words, prices don't go down, they just don't go up as fast. Deflation is when prices actually go down. You're trying to achieve disinflation, are you not?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Based on history, in the 10 times that we got inflation down, disinflation since the 1950s, in order to reduce inflation by 2%, unemployment had to go up 3.6%. Now that's history, is it not?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but yes, the standard has been that there have been recessions and downturns when the Fed has tried to reduce inflation.
Now, right now, the current inflation rate is 6.4%, and the current unemployment rate is 3.4%. Now, if history is right, I'm not asking you to again blame anybody, but if history is right, unless you get some help, in order to get inflation down from 6.4% to, let's say, 4.4%, and the unemployment rate is going to have to rise to 7% based on history.
The Fed wants unemployment to rise in order to combat inflation, as one of the current causes of inflation is wage growth, as companies are increasing wages in order to compete in the job market. And although there are many layoffs going on in the tech and finance sectors, jobless claims are still under 200,000 this year. And from the January BLS report, non-farm payroll employment rose over 500,000. With the declining rate of inflation slowing down, the Fed wants to raise unemployment from 3.4% up to 6%, hopefully causing people to spend less and decreasing wage growth in order to combat inflation. Let me know.
By the way, I scanned your food and it comes to $1 gazillion. Elmo has a T-Rex and a Go Fish car.
This one cracks me up, but let's go ahead and get into these made-up numbers, the reports that are pretending to be reports.
So it's a tale of two reports. So if we're looking at the job picture right now, one of the primary things that the feds are looking at is initial jobless claims. And as you might imagine, that is people filing for unemployment for the first time. Average hourly earnings have decreased basically a little over 20% over the last 12 months. That's a pretty good sign that you've got a softening labor market, right? Employers are not paying as much money to go attract new employees. Over the course of the 12 months, it's really been, with the exception of a month or two, every single month, consistent declines in average hourly earnings. So people are making less money. They're leaving their jobs less frequently because there's not employers willing to pay more money.
They're not being enticed to go somewhere else.
So we say all that to say almost double what expectations were, right? Everything I just said, job report, completely defying all of that information.
Thousands of people lined up for hours at this Toronto job fair, many hopeful they'll find work after being turned down by other employers.
They said, okay, we'll let you know later, or they're not looking for applicants right now.
I got one interview, but then it got canceled. There's like a lot of opportunity, but it seems like employers are getting a little bit pickier.
Not long ago, businesses were having a tough time finding workers to fill positions. Now it's a little easier.
We're looking to hire about 15 to 20 employees from everything from cooks, preppers, dishwashers, cashiers.
It's a signal the hot labor market is starting to cool. Canada unexpectedly lost about 6,000 jobs overall in July. The unemployment rate ticked up slightly to 5.5%. Still, workers are demanding higher compensation, as average hourly wages rose 5% compared to the same time last year. Some sectors are showing more weakness than others. There were fewer Canadians working in construction, public administration, and transportation, while more were hired in healthcare and education. One factor is surging immigration, more than 1 million people last year alone.
We are having more people join the labor market. And so where does that show up? Well, it shows up in our unemployment rate.
This economist says the economy is also slowing down as higher interest rates take effect.
I think we are seeing demand ease a bit. And as a result, companies are going to be dealing with that slowing in demand for their goods and services.
The latest job numbers come as TELUS announced it's cutting 6,000 jobs globally, saying it needs to stay competitive in a slower economy. The telecom giant saw profits fall more than 60% in its latest quarter.
At a TAFE in Brisbane, Labor is sharpening its focus on the next generation of Australian workers. But as the year winds down, so too does the number of jobs.
Our economy is slowing.
Latest data shows a slight uptick in the unemployment rate in November, rising 0.1% to 3.9, higher than market expectations.
In the context of a slowing economy and global uncertainty, unemployment with a 3 in front of it is a really remarkable outcome.
Well, it underscores the fact that the economy is shuddering to a halt.
The increase in the jobless rate is despite more than 60,000 jobs being created and a record high participation rate.
You can have some jobs being created, but if the population growth is even higher, not everybody who wants a job has a job.
And Australia's population is booming. Data released today shows a 2.5% increase over the past year, migrants making up more than 80% of that growth.
Clearly, population is a factor when it comes to our jobs market.
Rising unemployment will be daunting for many Australians, but some economists believe there is a silver lining. With fewer people in work and less money circulating in the economy, inflation will begin to ease. And that means interest rates could be cut sooner than expected.
I think we could be seeing rate cuts as soon as May or June next year.
Cuts that could be key to unlocking a stronger economy in the new year.